Hey, we're back with some more Draft League content. This is week 1 of the BFR Island Tour. It is me and my island versus Nova and Nova's island the first week. Everyone gets to use their own island. My thoughts are pretty much the same as the PR video where I went over everyone's team. Not super worried about Tyranitar Colossal. Grafii slacking are really good. Magneton, Rotom, Limit, not really things I'm thinking about in this matchup. I have 2 Defiant users, which makes Intimidate from Salamence like a lot worse. But I still really hope that they bring it, because that just gives these 2 mons a lot more value. Here's the team that I ended up going with. We have a small little Trick Room mode with Hatterene, Giraffe, King Gambit, and Mousehold. I figured giving both Giraffe and Hat would help me make sure that Trick Room can go up, depending on who gets targeted. Giraffe also turns off Prankster against Grafii, so I thought that could be really interesting if I wanted to go that route. But the biggest, the main mode of this team I thought was going to be Mousehold next to either Ceruledge or Primeape, so that it can follow me while these 2 can bulk up next to it. And I also have a little mode with Beat Up for Rage Fist here. I figured I would just max out on Mousehold speed because they have Grafii at 110 speed, so this way I guarantee that once its ability is gone, I go before it. And then I have just enough speed on both Ceruledge and Primeape to outspeed everything that's slower than max speed Magnemite or Magneton. So these are always going to be, everything above it is pretty much always going to be outspeeding me unless they're IVing for... I mean, why wouldn't you try and hit this benchmark at least of max speed Ceruledge, just so that you don't get swept by it. But I figured next to Follow Me, it's not that big of a deal that I don't have speed control. And that's also why I have Trick Room, just in case it did feel like a big deal. I'd be able to have a way around that if everything was like super fast and I needed to turn the tables. I was already using Life Orb on Hatterene here, so I figured Expert Belt was the next best thing for Ceruledge, especially since it can hit pretty much every mon on their team for super effective with Terra Fairy and Close Combat. Bitterblade I thought was just really good for the high base power and healing, and it also is the only thing I have to hit Bronzong. The King Gambit, I figured since it has the priority, I don't really expect it to ever outspeed anything, and I can use it in Trick Room pretty well. I just maxed out its bulk and attack, and gave it priority and Sucker Punch and Brick Break to break potential screens from Grimmsnarl. And finally, in that main core that I'm hoping to use is Primeape, which has Rage Fist, which can be self-procced by Beat Up, and Bulk Up, Protect, Drain Punch. Because with Bulk Up and Drain Punch and Eviolite, this thing is like really bulky, actually, like surprisingly bulky. Especially since I can put so much investment into its bulk, since I'm not really trying to outspeed a whole lot. I could have tried to outspeed Rotom with the Primeape, but I really wasn't worried about Rotom at all. I figure the worst thing it can do is like Thunder Wave me. Maybe Leaf Storm would do a surprising amount of damage. I mean, Will-O-Wisp actually would have been annoying if they brought that and outsped me, but that was probably an oversight on my part. But yeah, the Giraffe, I was really just I didn't really get a whole lot of coverage that I cared about. I really just wanted to be able to turn Hatterene into like a broken, like one-shotting machine if I ended up going the Trick Room mode with Helping Hand and Reflecting Light Screen to keep it alive. Calm Mind to set up on the turn that I set Trick Room potentially. So yeah, that's the team that I ended up going with. I was kind of hoping to be able to use like a Fling, Weakness Policy, Weak Armor strat between Sneasel and Ceruledge, but it just didn't cover things as well as I would have hoped. It was less flexible than the bulk up set. It pretty much requires me to lead Sneasel Ceruledge as opposed to being able to just lead Mousehold and either of these two. So yeah, that's the team, and that's my thoughts on the matchup, so let's get into the battle. Alright, so here's game one, and right off the bat, I noticed that they have Colossal and no Clawitzer, so I don't have to worry about any Steam Engine shenanigans in that regard. But they also don't have Bronzong for Trick Room for Colossal, so I wasn't really sure what it would do here. I also noticed they didn't have any Grimmsnarl, so no Pranks or Screens, no Fake Out. There is obviously the Grafai Eye Slacking combo, and then Glimmet, which was a big surprise for me to see. So obviously I'm expecting the Grafai Eye Slacking to come out first. Yep, that's what they started with, and then I came out with my Ceruledge and Mousehold. So here I was kind of expecting the possibility of Doodle into this slot to steal Flashfire and just an attack into Mousehold. So I wanted to protect Mousehold and switch in King Gambit so that I could block Doodle, priority Doodle on either slot, and then next turn they'd be forced to click it again. But I found out that Doodle goes through Protect, and they took my Friend Guard instead. So the Protect worked out because I blocked the Drain Punch and got to keep my Mousehold around. But now I have to deal with double Friend Guard, which honestly I don't think I fully registered that they were going to be so bulky. Because we'll watch here, I Encore the Helping Hand, I find out it's Mental Herb, and honestly this thing is like, look how bulky this is. It's max HP, but like Helping Hand, Slacking, Drain Punch, quad effective with Choppleberry, it only takes 50%. So I Brick Break and it does almost nothing, and I was like, oh, that's not good. Okay, and then this turn, I was half okay with King Gambit going down, but I was also expecting them to attack into Mousehold. And I thought that I would try and get another Brick Break up here, and then I'll be able to Sucker Punch and double into King Gambit, or Slacking next turn. So that was my thought process here in protecting Mousehold and staying in with King Gambit, but they ended up going for Parting Shot, which against Defiant is never the choice. I don't know if you forgot that King Gambit is Defiant, or that that interaction worked in this way where I get +3 total, -1 +4. But yeah, I ended up calling it right with the Protect there, and Brick Break just takes out Slacking, especially now that there's no more Friend Guard to protect it. This turn, after that, I was just in like the mindset of it doesn't really matter what they do. I feel like I have this in the bag with what I have in the back and on the field right now. So I figure if I can just keep King Gambit on the field with a Follow Me and then an attack, then I'll be fine. I'll take out Rotom Mow and I don't have to worry about Limit, but the Limit terastallizes and Terra Blasts me. And then this turn, I figure I'll probably get Terra Blasted here, and I figured I would get Terra Blasted here, so I protected, and just in case... Wait, why did I... Oh. So I figured I would get Terra Blasted into the slot, and just to make sure that I'd be able to KO it, I would show my Terra here and KO the Glimmet. But at this point, we find out that this thing probably doesn't have any attacking moves, because it's just spamming Doodle, and I don't really want to show my item or my set or anything, so I just keep spamming Terra Blast with Ceruledge. And game 1 goes to me, almost exclusively off of that turn where they parting shotted into my King Gambit. So that was pretty lucky on my part. If they just stayed in and kept attacking, I would have been in pretty rough shape, not gonna lie. But on to game 2. And in game 2, I figured I wasn't really afraid of any other type of lead. I figured since I led Ceruledge last time, maybe they'd expect me to do the same and bring out Salamence, so I actually led with Primeape this time. And I was right, they did bring out Salamence, and it was Intimidate, so I get the +1 off of that. And then here, I think I just wanted to... Let's see what I clicked. I don't fully remember what I wanted. Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure that Primeape was going to be able to KO stuff this turn. But then I get caught off guard by, again, this Glimmet just doing so much damage. And this is where I find out that it's almost definitely Specs. Like, Mousehold, it's a bulky Mousehold that I have, but I wasn't that surprised when it got OHKO'd by Terra Blast. Super effective Terra Blast from this thing. It has like base 105 special attack. But this damage right here pretty much confirmed to me that it was almost definitely Specs. Luckily, I have Friend Guard, and it's not very effective. Actually, is that true? No, it's neutral. But this next turn, I knew that Grafaiai didn't have any attacking moves, and I was almost positive that this was Specs, so I was 100% safe in just going for a Protect and then Terra Ghost to KO the Glimmet. I would take a lot of damage here, but since I still had Follow Me and Drain Punch to restore a bunch of my health, I had figured I would be like completely fine. This was actually just an unnecessary read, I'm pretty sure. I definitely didn't need to go for the Encore there, especially since I knew from last game that it was Mental Herb. But I think I was kind of just playing my advantage here. I was fine if Mousehold went down and I could bring in something else. And I was also pretty confident that they weren't just going to let this Primeape sit here. So I went for Follow Me this turn so that I could just Drain Punch and KO the Slacking. Oh, I think maybe... I don't want to give myself too much credit because I don't fully remember, but I might have been scouting for a Terra here. Just because if it was like a Ghost Terra or like something that resisted its only weakness, Normal, or Normal's only weakness, Fighting, then I would be in bad shape if I went for Drain Punch and then they Terra'd and just killed me. So I think that's why I protected there. But now they have to bring Salamence back in. I have 2 Defiant Mons. It's just not looking great for them. So I just finish up the game with Sucker Punch and Drain Punch. And that was the first week. So pretty solid game on my island's part. Worked pretty much the way that I was hoping it would. I think it would have been funny to be able to use the for a giraffe hat side of the team, but this was the half that I was way more excited to use anyway, so I'm glad it worked out. A little bit disappointed I didn't use the Fling weak armor set like I was originally planning, but this was equally as fun, I think. So the next game is going to be live recorded. I'll be recording as I play through the game instead of doing it in post. So look forward to that. And next week is versus Fadi in the Frontier Ferrets. So we'll a lot of people just record. Maybe they have like a script to avoid all these jump cuts, you know? And yeah, I look forward to playing that match. So I'll see you next week. Bye.